Hi, I'm Helen Herring from the Rochdale Educational Psychology Service. This is part 6 in a series of videos about play and resilience. Just before we start, here's another reminder of where you can go to find a bit more information about how Rochdale are supporting their residents during the coronavirus crisis. So we're going to start with another quote. The resilience of a child is distributed. It's not just in the child. It's distributed in their relationships with the many other people who make up their world. So that's from Anne Maston, who's a researcher in resilience. Just another reminder that we can always change and support the development of resilience for children. And it is about the interaction they have with their world and the people that support them. We're going to look at some information from a book called Building Resilience in Children and Teens, Giving Kids Roots and Wings, written by Dr. Kenneth Ginsberg with Martha Jablow. So they talk about the 7 C's of resilience. These are competence, confidence, connection, character, contribution, coping, and control. Although we'll talk about them in isolation, as you go through, you'll see that many of the strategies support more than one area, and all these areas are interlinked. So Dr. Ginsberg talks about how children need unconditional love, absolute security, and a deep connection to at least one adult. Last week, Katie talked about the research base and how children that have a strong connection with an adult are more able to develop their resiliency. When we talk about unconditional love, that's about saying to children that we love them and care for them for who they are. We might not always accept their behaviours, but we will be there to support them to develop new skills and to change their responses to difficult situations because we love them and we will always be there. Sometimes the best thing we can do to help children learn is to get out of their way. A bit of an odd phrase, but basically that means children need to try and we've got to let them try. We can be there as supporters and give them a cuddle if it doesn't go right. We can offer guidance and support if they ask for it. But it's important that children have the opportunity to try things for themselves, safe in the knowledge that it's okay if it doesn't go right, and we'll be there to help them to try again. Listening to children attentively is more important than anything we can say. Children learn from what we do more than what we say. It's important not to try and give too much advice to children, but to listen to their concerns and to reflect them and to help them to find their own way through. Children live up or down to adults' expectations of them. In this case, Dr. Ginsberg is talking about character traits more than anything to do with academic success or achievement in those senses. Children gain the confidence to make positive steps forwards when they have reasons to believe that they are competent. Children need to have experienced success and to feel competent in order to feel confident enough to try new things. Children need to know that they can control what happens to them in order to overcome challenges. Children need a sense of control. If they don't feel they can have an impact on their world, there's no point in trying to have an impact. So children need to know that actually what they do has an effect. So the first of the 7 C's is competence. This is the ability to know and trust that you know how to handle situations effectively. We can only feel competent if we've had the opportunity to try things and to succeed with them. It's when we have a sense of mastery that we feel competent. Children have got to have the opportunity to test their judgment in order to be able to believe in the decisions and the choices that they make. We can support children to develop their competence through allowing them to try, providing free play opportunities, so that's the loose parts kind of play that we talked about in week 2, noticing, praising and providing constructive feedback, and defining success in a way that allows growth and happiness. Confidence. Children develop their confidence through demonstrating their competence in real life situations. So we can only feel confident when we've had the opportunity to be competent at activities. Confidence comes through knowing that success is possible. And confident children are more likely to persevere and feel that they've got some control. We can support children to develop their confidence. Once again, we can notice and reflect their strengths, give genuine specific praise, and help them to recognise their own skills. If children know what they're good at, they also know what skills they need to develop, and they're more able to ask for support and work on those skills. When we're saying give genuine specific praise, that's about really thinking about what skills the child is showing in that moment that are valuable for them as people and also to help them to achieve their goal. Connection. Children benefit from feeling connected to their family, their friends, and their community. When children are connected, they have a sense of belonging, a sense of security, and this allows them to take safe risks. We can try things we're uncertain about if we know there are people around us that will catch us, that will give us a hug if it hasn't worked out, and that will help us to start trying again. We can support children to develop their sense of connection through empathising with them and encouraging them to share their thoughts and feelings. We need to accept their thoughts and feelings, not judge them or dismiss them. We can reflect how children feel, and once we can show that any feeling is okay, we will help you to manage that feeling and to find a positive way through. That will help children to develop their connection with us and also develop their social and emotional skills. Spending positive time or playing with children will develop the connection. And we also need to make sure we support them to make connections outside of the immediate family. So children need to feel safe enough to take risks and to share their thoughts and feelings with people in school and in the wider community, as well as within their family unit. Character. The values and character traits that a child develops can be nurtured and encouraged by the adults around them. So children learn what character traits are valuable by the way that adults and other people respond to them. When children have developed strong core values, it's easier to return to them in times of crisis, helping them to find their own way and be more resilient. So when children know what their core values are, what adults strive to achieve themselves in terms of their character traits, and which character traits are positively received by the adults around them, they know what they want to be, who they want to be. And when they're challenged in those areas, if they've got a strong sense of character, they're able to return to those values and stick to them. You can support your child to develop their character, once again, through noticing and pointing out the positive behaviours that you see. You can act as a role model for the character traits that you'd like to support them to develop. We can help children to develop their character through promoting a sense of responsibility and being open about conversation and having conversations about difficult subjects. So if you're watching the news with your older child, talk about what's going on, what traits you see, and what values you have together. Contribution. Contributing can provide a sense of purpose and directly impact on the development of resilience, as it provides something positive to strive towards and achieve. Contribution develops a number of the other C's, for example, positive character traits such as generosity, being caring, and responsible. You can support your child to develop their sense of contribution through supporting them to become involved in projects and help other people. If children come home with ideas about how they might be able to help a neighbour or become involved in a school project, think of ways in which you can support them to do that. You can also talk to them about the little things that they can do to make a difference within their community and within wider society. Coping. Life can be stressful. Children, as well as adults, experience difficult times in their lives, and they need to learn how to cope and respond to these challenging situations. Children who are resilient are more able to cope with these challenges. Different children will respond in different ways, and it's about us as adults supporting them to work through these emotions and find constructive ways to work through these feelings that they're having. We can support children to develop their coping skills through helping them to recognise that the feelings they're having might be caused by stress, to recognise what feelings and sensations they have inside relate to different emotions and helping them to name them. As we talked about earlier, accepting any emotion they feel is perfect, and then we need to support them in how to respond to that feeling constructively. We can teach children how to look after their body, so getting enough sleep, enough exercise, enough nutrition, and teaching them relaxation strategies that they can try at times of stress. And finally, control. Children need to have a sense of control over their own lives. When we have a sense of control, we're more able to take responsibility for our own actions and see that we can have an impact on our life. We can help children to develop their feelings of control through allowing them to take part in decision making at home, and helping them to reflect on what they've done that's impacted on the outcome of an activity or a learning task that they might have been involved in. So different things you could try at home this week would be to think about the opportunities the children in your care have to develop in each of the areas. Think about if there's anything you could do differently to support them to develop further, and maybe pick one area to reflect on and focus on that during the week to think about the opportunities your children have to develop their skills in that area. As always, feel free to contact us if you've got any queries or questions. Next week is our final video, and Katie will be talking about the links between play and resilience and how you can use play opportunities to develop children's resilience. And just a final reminder about safeguarding. Thank you. Bye.